When we get BJ, I just want him to tell you a little bit about Endeavor. He'll be up here in just 1 minute. But in the meantime, I'll just introduce the rest of the folks that make this happen. But before I do that, I want to find out how many people are new to cryptocurrency in the room. All right, we got a few people in here. And how many are current investors? Okay. And with that, how many are in profit? All right, we're all shaky today. Yeah, kind of nervous today, but that's good to know. And I just going to go ahead and introduce the people that I work with here now at the meetup. I got some great guys that are helping me out, giving you guys a lot of information, helping me with courses. One is Clifford Mitchum. This is Clifford. Clifford's active in the solar industry, and now he's an educator in all things cryptocurrency. He's been doing Bitcoin 101 courses for us consistently, and he's got a lot of great information. So if you have any questions about cryptocurrency, this is the guy that you want to talk to. In the back is Jeremy Barnett, and Jeremy records all of our meetups. So if you do not want to be on television or our YouTube channel, we ask that you please sit to the side of them and get out of the way so we don't see you on the television. Tyler Lelix is right over here. He's helping us read cryptocurrency charts. He is an active investor, and then he also does for us what's called the advanced room. So around 7 o'clock we split up. We take some of the people that are currently investors in cryptocurrency and we move you folks to the front of the room. We keep all the new people here so we can talk about how you can set up wallets, get you really familiar with cryptocurrency and the easy way to do it. And we are all knowledgeable about how you can lose money in cryptocurrency. We don't want you to do that. So we make sure that we cover all of that good stuff for you. There he is, okay. Last, I just want to introduce you Mike Chandler, who's a local business owner. He's an active cryptocurrency miner. He's mining cryptocurrency consistently. So if there's anybody in this room that wants to learn about mining and all other things about cryptocurrency, Mike Chandler is the guy to talk to. All right. Real quick, we just, like I said, are very excited to be here at Endeavor and to meet here. It's a great place. And BJ is right over here. And I'm just going to have him tell you a little bit about Endeavor, where you are, and what this place is about. So, BJ.
Hey guys, welcome back to Endeavor. So I'm really excited to have you guys back. Some of you are new faces. Some have been here, but pretty much what we do here is we offer business space, office space, business services as a membership. So we don't do traditional leases. We just look at whatever your needs are for your company and try to provide a solution for space. So we have a lot of shared space. This is shared space back here. You guys will probably get to see the large boardroom and some other spaces that we have. That's all shared. So everything we do is membership based, month to month. We don't put anybody into a long-term commitment. We do a lot of events like this where we'll host groups like you guys to come in and use the space because we want everyone to see it and use it. All kinds of different things going on all the time. So keep up with, check us out on Facebook and keep up with our events as well. There might be some interest there. But thanks you guys for coming here, and we're really happy to have you and see the group grow. So
thank you.
Let me know if you have any questions for me.
All right, thanks. Thank you. So some of the things we're going to cover tonight are going to be some of that we cover every single meetup, and is doing like top cryptocurrencies. We talk about the top cryptocurrencies. We talk about what they're doing currently in the economy, their function. So I got a lot of posts on our meetup when I posted that we were going to have this meetup. Some people went under there, and one guy said, "Oh, these are scammers." and I said, "No, sir, we're not. We are actually investors in digital currency." And he wrote back, "Well, there's always a rub." And I said, "No, sir, there's no rubbing. There's only talking about digital currency." So please always remember that this is a free group. This is also a forum. So when you have questions about cryptocurrency or you want to talk about cryptocurrency, just raise your hand. We'll be happy to answer your questions. Or if you have anything that you want to like present to the group, hey guys, I have a hot tip. This is the group that we want. We want to hear all that information because we know that we've learned a lot just by having folks in the room. So, okay, yeah, that's a signing thing. That great. So tonight we actually reached out to some folks that have a company called BitCoin IRA, and they are extremely popular and overloaded with people right now that want to invest in cryptocurrencies. I've got a series of questions that I put together for those folks. And they're going to launch right here at 6:30 online. So if you do have questions about IRAs and Bitcoin or cryptocurrencies, they actually host more than just Bitcoin. They have access to Ripple, Litecoin, Bitcoin Cash. So there's a series of them that they offer for you to invest in. So that I'm going to leave it up to them to talk to you a little bit about what that is. And so they can give you more detail. I will tell you, I know someone who directly has invested in Bitcoin IRA. It was a $25,000 initial investment and has now, within 3-month period, turned it around to $180,000. So it is something that people are actively doing and making money from. But it is all contingent upon the market. So as you can see, we most often here at our meetup groups, we use CoinMarketCap to look at all of the cryptocurrencies. At the top, you're going to see that there is currently 1,450 different cryptocurrencies that are active right now. CoinMarketCap is an excellent site for you to get familiar with those cryptocurrencies, but also to follow their links onto maybe their websites or something. Anything that you click on here will bring up that coin. And then over to the left-hand side, you'll see where their websites are listed. You'll see where message boards are listed. You'll see that the fact that where we are currently in price. And then if you jog down, you can use what their markets. They're comparing all cryptocurrency exchanges to get the pricing that they currently have for the coins. So that gives you an idea of where the coins are listed and where you can buy them. So that is something that we all use currently and are actively using every single day. CoinMarketCap is also something that you can download on your phone. It's got an app, a great app. That's why you all often see us staring at our phones as we're watching the market, seeing whether they're going up or down and who's made money and who hasn't. There has been a drop, as we all know, today in cryptocurrency the last 24 hours. I'm just going to clear the air on that and why. We are looking at South Korea is cracking down on some of the exchanges, meaning that they're going into the exchanges very concerned about what they say is gambling. And when they do that, they actually stop all trading. And when they stop all trading, everybody gets really nervous because you got all this money sitting on the exchange. You want to pull your money out, and you can't pull your money out. So it often will reverberate through the entire cryptocurrency community, and then you'll see sell-offs like you're seeing now. The other news recently is China. So the Chinese are now going in, doing the same exact thing, cracking down on ICOs, looking very closely at the exchanges, also looking closely at the mining. They have the biggest mining outfits in the entire world. One's called Bitmain. They have 24 huge warehouses where guys actually live there and crypto mine all day long. That's all they do. They never leave. The basketball court there and everything. So that gives you an idea of what's going on in the market, why you're seeing this drastic drop-off. But later, Tyler over here did some really good homework on where we are actually in the calendar year, and has witnessed that this is kind of something that's happened for the past 2 years. Right, Tyler?
Since 2015, yeah, pretty much every year at this time it happens, and then it'll correct and it'll retrace back up throughout the year. So definitely not something to panic about.
No panicking, right? Yeah, I mean, some people are buying right now. They take it as a buying opportunity. Again, we are not financial advisors. We just, we're crypto enthusiasts, so we can't tell you to run out and buy. There are many of us, personally, I consider some of the coins very valuable right now, so I do consider it a buying opportunity, but that's my personal feeling. That's your choice. You know, I always say when it comes to cryptocurrencies, do your homework, follow through on something that you actually feel good about and you want to support, because all of these coins are actually physically attached to some sort of entity, and they're doing something in the economy. For instance, Bitcoin is considered digital currency, Ethereum is considered smart contracts, and then Ripple is considered a banking apparatus for SWIFT. So they all have different reasons why you might want to invest in them. And there's a few more that we'll talk about tonight that are doing other things. So with that said, is there any questions before we get started? Hi, Ken.
Hi. What's the password or whatever to get on?
Password?
You have
Yeah.
the Wi-Fi card up there.
There's a Wi-Fi card right up here. I don't want to.
Oh,
There we go.
well, thank you very
There,
much.
let's look around. Hey, make one note, Japan actually announced today their largest bank is starting its own crypto exchange, so it's positive news.
That is positive news. It is positive news.
The largest bank is starting.
Crypto exchange, according to CoinDesk.com.
Yeah, and Japan, by the way, is already approved Bitcoin and other digital currencies as currency. So they see Bitcoin as a currency. They actually are very active in that regard, and their market cap just went up as an entire country because of the fact that they are now accepting digital currency. And also, that's where a lot of the miners are looking to move to because of China's crackdown. They're looking to move to Japan. So Japan is high, one of those places that is highly desirable for people that are in the cryptocurrency realm. And also, people are very concerned about taxes in the States, about getting, overtaxed on cryptocurrencies as the IRS is looking closer and closer at what we're doing. They're considering, regulations, and so a lot of countries are looking more appealing to cryptocurrency people. For instance, Puerto Rico's tax rate for cryptocurrency is
It's 0 on capital gains, 4% overall.
0 on capital gains, 4% overall. And the States, do you know?
The States is, with the new tax plan, they say 18%. As of right now, 29.5 is the capital gains tax.
So Puerto Rico looks appealing. But you have to live there 180 days out of the year. And they have
183.
a massive hurricane, it just hit.
You should go to Puerto Rico, huh, Cliff?
Yeah.
I'm already looking at houses.
We found a
Dome
report
homes,
down
I'm
there,
telling you.
and we're
Hurricane
looking for investors on that.
Yes, that would be wonderful. So we actually created, from this meetup group, we got together, we all created a news network called BitcoinCrypto.News. We post articles, a lot of articles, as much as we can. We're always reporting on cryptocurrency things. So please, if you can, go to BitcoinCrypto.News, follow what we're doing. You'll see, a lot of what Jeremy's doing is taping these. You'll see that on our website, as well as the top cryptocurrencies. We'll list what I'm going to do tonight on here, upload that so you can download it and you can view it at a later time. I was one of the first business owners in Fort Myers to accept cryptocurrency. I did that by going to a Bitcoin conference in Miami in 2014 and realizing it was really, really simple, and I really didn't need to pay to go there, but it was worth the money. And I went home, printed out a wallet from blockchain. You can go on blockchain.com, you can get a free wallet, print out your QR code, print out your wallet ID, and just post that up for everyone to see, and you're officially accepting cryptocurrency at your business. That is how simple it is. However, I suggest you go on coinmap.org after that and list your business on coinmap.org so everyone can see that you are taking cryptocurrency, digital currency.
Well,
Yes, ma'am.
but when you accept Bitcoin on a brick and mortar level, they're there. How do you do it digitally? Like your e-commerce site?
I actually didn't list it on as an e-commerce site, but I did actually upload my image onto my website. So if somebody was to pay me, for instance, like, hey, I had a guy from Australia that wanted to bring his mother to see butterflies at the butterfly stakes. So he messaged me through email, and then I just said, oh, go to my website. You can see my QR code there. It's just a picture. And I told him the amount through email. It was $25 at the time. and bing, bing, he did it, and then it automatically.
If your site's built on like Shopify or WooCommerce, then they have plugins for that, kind of similar to like a PayPal plugin, where people can just select to pay with that.
Shopify and WooCommerce? Oh, good.
Like the major e-commerce
WordPress.
platforms.
We accept it on our site, so it's a
Okay.
plugin.
Thank you. It's a plugin?
Yes.
They could totally help you do it.
Come talk to us
They-
afterwards. We love
Yeah.
that stuff.
Okay,
Yeah.
great, thank you.
We kind of had to figure that out recently, so they jumped into it. The other thing that we've been actively doing as a group is really focusing on the real estate market. We want to better understand what the process is like to accept a payment for a real estate. So please look for that at our next meeting. We are now really studying hard to actively understand that process and what exchanges or what entities are actively doing real estate, because it's a strong market, and there are a lot of people that want to buy from overseas property in the States, and they want to use cryptocurrency to do that.
Good, very good.
So with that, we've got about 5 minutes until I'm going to put these folks on the line. Is there anything you guys want to mention?
Just,
You probably will mention this, and then you can tell me that you'll talk about it later. I'm really keen, we're interested in the Internet of Things, all of that sort of thing, and what crypto strategy gets us close to that networking, massive networking.
Sure, like you're thinking about IOTA or
Yeah, exactly.
something like that.
Where is it?
Yeah. Well, IOTA's still in development, and they have a lot of behind-the-scenes infrastructure things that they're putting together. And that's one of the reasons why you don't see IOTA making big moves like that were expected. Its name and reputation kind of got dipped into the mud a bit, because not from the IOTA group per se, but from people around the IOTA group overstated some claims and some business relationships that they were putting together, and that kind of stopped the upward movement to get to flatline once that correction was made. And they were very responsible as an organization and as a group to say, hey, we didn't say this, we just said we're going to be working with them, and then it kind of blew up from there. But it's kind of just got that to flatline. Just like all the other currencies though, as from a speculative standpoint, it's on a downward turn, but these things do that. They go up, they go down, as Tyler pointed out. So there are a lot of things coming down the pike, particularly with IOTA. I know they have a contract with a big auto parts manufacturer to, instead of using UPCs, they're actually making coin addresses to each of the parts.
Yeah.
So that way, once that part moves, they can track it better and they can provide more information on it.
I want to hit on that real quick. I know that there's a lot of tone of it's on a downward trend, on IOTA especially. I mean, good Lord, it's lost 50% of its value.
Mm-hmm.
I started investing in IOTA 3 months ago for 48 cents. It's 236 now, so it's not really down. It's down, but it's still a lot higher than it was, 3 months ago. It's the Internet of Things. That's what they're looking on.
Right.
It's a totally different monster than blockchain.
Yeah.
It's actually its own little entity, which I'm sure we'll go over in the advanced courses and stuff, a little more in depth on that. And so come talk to us about that.
Yeah, it's an incredible thing,
Yeah.
really.
Just as an analogy, if the blockchain is a brick, IOTA would be grains of sand.
Yeah.
Okay, when you talk about the transfer of information, I think that's a good analogy for that. So blockchain moves large pieces, IOTA moves small pieces, so it's able to be more scalable. The biggest thing that people have seen, particularly with Bitcoin recently, is congestion. So many people are trying to get into Bitcoin, and as of this today, so many people are trying to get out of Bitcoin. That causes congestion on the network. And just like anything else, if there's long lines, they raise the price to kind of get that line to form a little bit better. So IOTA has scalability that blockchain does not. So it doesn't get impacted by the large congestion one way or another way. So there's different advantages, just like every other currency it has, or every other coin, it has particular advantages that are unique to it that gives it a particular market advantage.
Very good.
Ready to pull them up?
I am, yes. Yeah, and just on the, the Internet of Things, we will go over that a little later on the top cryptocurrencies and talk about that. But I want you to know that when they did come to our meeting, they showed up at our meeting, and Mike went home and bought it for 48 cents. So all of a sudden, a bunch of people walked in with black T-shirts on, and we're from Berlin. We love IOTA. We're like, wow, you know. So these are very valuable meetings to come to.
Those people just closed the deal actually with
Yeah,
blockchain.
I heard that.
Yeah.
Tell everyone.
If there's anybody that was at that meeting when those Nakamoto people came in, they actually just closed the deal with Advanced Blockchain AG, I think was the name of the, like a conglomerate, it's like an investment conglomerate. And so they're actually vacationing in Greece right now.
Very happy. So they are going to come back in February, and we plan on having a party with the IOTA people because they're quite fun. So, I'm going to go ahead and accept the phone call from the Bitcoin IRA folks. I've got a series of questions that I've compiled that I hope answers a majority of what you might ask. However, at the end of that, if you do have a question for these people, this is the time to do it. Just raise your hand and we'll shoot the question out to them, okay?
And we also have
Hey guys, you there?
Hi everybody.
MeetUp group. That's the first group. That's awesome.
How are you?
I'm doing really well. How about yourselves?
We're doing pretty good. We can't visually see you, but we can just see your picture. There you go. There you are.
Outstanding.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
So, I mean, first off, if you guys could just give us who you guys are individually and where you are.
Yeah, absolutely. We're coming to you live from Sherman Oaks, California, just outside of Los Angeles, about 20 miles from the downtown Los Angeles area. We are Bitcoin IRA, so I'm the Chief Operating Officer and co-founder of this company. We launched in 2016 with our first ever digital currency IRA. With the former Director of the United States Mint, Ed Moy, as our first client. I'm joined today with Diego. He's one of our top Bitcoin IRA specialists. He also has an experience, MBA from Pepperdine, and has run hedge funds for our firm in the past. And Scott, one of our other esteemed sales specialists and specialist that works with clients for the last 6 months here at Bitcoin IRA.
Well, very nice to meet you guys.
That's Starkey.
Awesome.
I got one more, sorry. Forgot one more. I got John. John is our sales manager here at Bitcoin IRA, so anybody you talk to, he's their boss, and you call him Hulk.
All right, very cool. All right, well, we're going to scan the room to show you we got a full room of people here.
Great. How's everybody feeling with today's bloodbath?
We're all a little nervous, but
Take it in
we're
stride.
okay. Okay.
It's a roller coaster ride. My stomach hurt the first few times I had pullbacks. We've been trading Bitcoin actively for clients since Bitcoin was at 200. We launched Ethereum when it was at 40. We launched Litecoin when it was just about $25, $30, and Ripple when it was just a mere 19 cents was our first trade. So we've seen the ebbs and flows of this marketplace and have some familiarity with days like this.
Very cool. So those are the four that folks can choose from then when they want a Bitcoin IRA with you?
They actually have two other choices. We have Bitcoin Cash. We were one of the first exchanges to offer that support after the fork on August 1st. And we have Ethereum Classic, which is still, even though it's not as regularly used as Ethereum as we know it today, it's still very popular. We'll see what happens if there is another fork in Ethereum. I'm not sure if 3 coins can survive in one ecosystem. That'll be a new experience for all of us in the crypto space.
Very cool. What is the minimum cost required, we were wondering?
Yeah, so our minimum investment size is at $20,000, and then it's $20,000 for every additional crypto that you'd like to do. We work with OTC trading partners, so instead of moving funds, as maybe most of you use Coinbase, Kraken, GDAX, or any of the other groups, we will put your funds, will be a Kingdom Trust and FDIC insured and save a bank account for your IRA. And then those trades are only executed in a liquidity sense, so your monies are never put into a hot exchange or a hot wallet setting. Your US dollars move to the exchange facility, FDIC insured as a bank wire, and the coins move directly into your cold storage BitGo wallets that are constructed for your IRA. So if you ever look back at the history of time of the parity hacks or the things that have taken place, a large amount of them take place at that exchange level, like Bitfinex hack in July of 2016. And we tried, when we constructed this model, our biggest goal was to keep your monies and your coin outside of those risky situations.
So when you say $20,000 to invest in one coin, I'm not clear on that. So that would be like if I drop $20,000, that would be just in Bitcoin, for instance, or?
Yes, exactly. And then any additional coins you want to add would be another additional $20,000 minimum.
So you can't move your money back and forth from different cryptos. You got to stay with that one.
Once you enter in, obviously that can change. There's clients that will put $20,000 in Bitcoin and have seen it grow to $60,000. So they've sold off the portion that they've made as far as house gains, was the house money, and they put that into different alternative coins. That's kind of what you're not married into that relationship forever. It's a self-directed IRA, so you can buy and sell at your leisure. We've just updated our trading protocols. We still do voice recorded trade lines for additional security. When you execute a trade, you'll be on with a live trader, plugging those trades real time into the trade block program. Then you'll be sent e-signed documents that correspond with those trades real time, and you'll be verified your identity by the custodian. So all those steps go through for every time you do a trade. So you have to dedicate about 10 to 12 minutes of your time rather than a click of a mouse. And why we do that is so that we can move the funds in a secure fashion. We bring back a little bit of that human element into it. But you're able to buy and sell at any time at your discretion.
Interesting. So what's the process of rolling over your conventional IRA into a Bitcoin IRA? How does that work?
Well, first you want to figure out if you're eligible. If you have an IRA, whether it's Roth, traditional, SEP, or simple, you're certainly going to be eligible to move it over. You set it up separately. You can do what's known as an IRA to IRA transfer. So we open up an account at Kingdom Trust Company. That was the world's first self-directed IRA company that was willing to work with us. I went back and forth with them for almost 18 months in the development of this, and I remember the first meeting when they thought I was crazy talking about Bitcoin. This was back in 2015. Now they can't get enough of it, and other custodians are jumping on board to try to catch up to them. It's a process for them to get to the security level that they're at. Once your account's open, then it can be funded by a transfer. Now, if you have, say, a 401k or a 403b, 457, one of those types that you're thinking, maybe an old pension, you're going to want to ensure that you're eligible by either determining have you reached age or have you left the employer that was contributing. So if you're over 59 and a half, you're at age eligibility. If you are under 59 and a half, but you've left that company, then you now have the eligibility to roll those funds over. Once they're rolled over, then it's at your discretion of when you want to enter the market space. You just schedule time with a trader when you buy or sell or get active in the market space. But it's a self-directed group.
Interesting. So how does your back office work?
Our back office, they basically are your turnkey solution of kind of a concierge to this. So instead of just saying, hey, here's the company you go to, we'll call us when you have an account that's funded, we're going to walk through those steps with you. So we'll send out, you can either go to our website and start a process right away, known as our self-serve program. You click and get started. You can start filling out the details that directly APIs to the custodian so that your application is instantly accepted. And then our team will get you the transfer documents you need, and you can download them there. Or you can reach out and work with somebody like Diego or Scott. They're going to connect you with our operations specialists and help make sure that your transfer documents are in good order. If you need to do a rollover request, walk you through that and get on the phone with Fidelity or otherwise. And then once funds arrive and you've executed trades, our concierge team is there as customer care. So if you ever need liquidations, purchases, or just overall need to log into your account, forgot your password, any of those things, you would reach out to them. And then Diego and the others, they spend a lot of their time studying this market space. It's very volatile. There's a lot of things. I mean, when somebody calls you, how do you explain why Ripple went to $3 over Christmas and now it's back sub $1 today? And what that means about this marketplace. And that's where you have this educational tool of our team, as well as our website that's just full of amazing, fresh, innovative content. We are now members of the Forbes Tech Council, so we get a piece published every month, or sometimes twice a month on Forbes, about thinking about this market space. We understand it's fresh for most buyers, whether you're a veteran that's been buying since '09 or you're just getting in. Education is key in this market space.
So I think you kind of answered this for us a little earlier, but you can't then move from crypto to crypto seamlessly. You actually have to, contact you guys or
Yeah, settle the US dollar. That's absolutely true. So the instant swaps is not something that's completely developed yet. We're working Smart contract technology is going to allow us to do that, which is kind of cool. So we're not just providers of this product, but we're actually implementing the technology underneath it. But right now, it's T plus 1 settlements. So if you call today and sold your Bitcoin, then by tomorrow, your coin will have settled and your monies will be back in your IRA so that you can buy your Ethereum. Eventually, we're going to get it to where you can say, sell 10 Bitcoin and buy me 500 Ethereum. That takes a little bit with the OTC to get all the parties aligned with a smart contract. But we're almost there, and we're already down to 1 day, which isn't too bad.
That is awesome. I guess another question that folks had, and I don't know if this even relates to an IRA, but we know that moving one crypto to another crypto, say go from Bitcoin to Ripple, for instance, creates a taxable event. Does any of that play into a 401k, I mean a Bitcoin IRA, the way you're doing it?
That's one of the most, I think, the perks of the program is that you can use this volatility and this opportunity of cryptocurrencies and not have the capital gains implication. When you're sitting inside of an IRA, whether it's Roth, pre-tax, or post-tax settings, you are in a tax-deferred environment. So you're under this umbrella of protection against those gains implications. So you could buy $100,000 of Bitcoin, sell it for $1 million, you would have no capital gains implication. You instead would have, at some point down the road, if you were in a traditional setting, a tax on distribution. So at that point in time, when you finally take that money out, and it goes from being IRA income to ordinary income, you'd have a tax pay. I actually spoke at an event in March of last year in Puerto Rico. I explained this to somebody comparing two guys named Billy and Steve. Billy went to a local Coinbase and just set up an account with $5,500. And Steve went over to and set up a Roth IRA with the same $5,500. Now I gave them both hindsight. So from 2009 to, it was at the time, 2015, I had them do 5 of the exact same buys times purchases and liquidations. So they made the perfect choices as far as buying at peaks, selling at lows during that time period. The difference was $15 million of their final growth. So they each made a lot of money off that $5,500. But the individual that was in the IRA, every time he sold off, he didn't have capital gains implications. That means that he didn't have to ante up to Uncle Sam in US dollars, and he could buy crypto the next time he entered the market. That's, I mean, $15 million is nothing to laugh at, especially on a $5,500 investment. So if you can use IRA settings, this is the tool that it's designed for, because you can avoid those big checks to Uncle Sam, which I know there's not one of us that likes those in this room.
No, we were just talking about that actually. We're talking about Puerto Rico because it has such the benefits of being there.
That's why I was there learning, and it's really cool if you are. I mean, you guys are down in Florida, so it's not far for you. If you can find residency in Puerto Rico, which means own a home, and then you have to be there 180 days out of the year. Now, on the 180 days, it can be the last minute of the day. So if you fly into Puerto Rico at 11:59 and you get stamped on your passport, or you get your landing ticket, you can prove that you were there for that whole day, even though you were there for 1 minute. And a lot of individuals, that's who I was meeting down there, was a lot of high net worth individuals that are saying, hey, I'd like to get a little safe haven from Uncle Sam. Now, will that continue is always the question. Regulation changes. We saw when the hurricane hit, there was a big battle between the federal government and the local municipality there. Maybe taxes may be in the future. They need aid ahead. We don't know. That'll be something that'll be decided.
Very, very interesting. So when you look at, when a client's actually looking at the amount of money they made, how do you guys get your information as far as the current price of where they are? For instance, Ripple today is at, I don't know what it is right now, but let's just say it's at $1.05. And, and then it goes up to $2.20 tomorrow. And I still see $1.05. How often is that updated that you can see how much you...
Right now, it's a once-a-day update. You can always obviously go to any of the other sites. Our exchange rates are very similar to an aggregate of Coinbase, GDAX, Kraken, CoinMarketCap, I think Cointelegraph. They're just an aggregate of those. So there is some imperfection in the market. Our new tool for you to log in, see your holdings, which then couples with real-time 24/7, 365 trading that's coming around the corner. You'll be able to go and it'll be real time. So you'll see exactly, if I was to sell now, I would know the exact price my product is worth.
Very cool. Yeah, our last question was...
I love, by the way, I think there are more women in this room than I've ever seen in a Bitcoin meetup. This is awesome. That's one of the biggest issues is the gap between men and women in cryptocurrency. I just love to see it personally. I spoke at an event at CISA Northridge, and there was all these young girls that were anxious about finance, anxious about crypto. It's really, I have a 4-year-old daughter. She turns 4 actually on Saturday. And I think about the income gap that's taken place over the 80s, 90s, and has really trickled its way to the new millennia. Crypto is a great space. We have a lot more women that come to us. And what's funny is they'll go and do Bitcoin a year ago, and now their husbands or significant others are on the phone saying, hey, I want to do this now. And that's really reverse of a lot of other financial instruments we've seen in the past, whether it's real estate, LLCs, precious metals. Crypto is every man's and woman's world, and I just wanted to applaud you guys for that diversity.
Yeah, we do have a diverse group here in Southwest Florida. We have over 322 members now, so we get all age groups and all different types of people, and cryptos just seems to bring everyone together and unify. So that's a really great thing to happen when we have a cryptocurrency group. Politics goes away, everything else goes away, and then we all get excited about cryptocurrency. So appreciate that.
Yeah, we keep religion and politics out the table. We can talk money, right, as long as it's crypto.
Exactly. We get excited about that. Is there anybody?
Not that filthy U.S. dollar.
You're right. Is there anybody in here that has a question for these folks about a Bitcoin IRA? Oh, hey Ken, what you got?
Hi, yeah, just real quick. I've been checking out this company called Tontine Trust. It's very incredible. It's like 300-year-old investment strategy. They started like back in the late 16th century. It's kind of like akin to an annuity, and so they're doing a blockchain. My question is, are you guys looking at doing anything with them, or going to invest in that, or what do y'all think on that?
So I don't know if you guys can hear him, but he's wondering if you guys are going to work with, what company is it?
It's Tontine
Tontine Trust?
Yes.
That one's not what I ran into. There are about a handful of new custodians that are entering the space, and they will grow up at some point. I'm sure of it. That's inevitable. We've been in this. We were first to the market. We're first. We're the largest. We're kind of, I call us the 500-pound gorilla in the room. This is a huge market now, big opportunity. A lot of groups walk into it. We've even licensed out our program in a sense for retailers. There are some that have gone other routes. But you got to think about your key security here. A lot of them are using other wallets like Zappo, which has headquarters in Hong Kong, which makes me a little uneasy personally, and it only offers Bitcoin. The way that our keys are created is the Kingdom has one in a cold storage vault, BitGo has another one in a geographically undisclosed location vault, and then there's a third from Key Terminal Recovery Services that kicks in the event that both those entities fall off the map. And this is a one-of-a-kind construction security. I would say that we hope other custodians can come up to par for the security of it. We put in optical eye scanners, offline laptops that have been designed to never touch the internet for key inception and encryption. Everything is in a cold storage vault. Only 2 human beings can actually have access to it, the CEO and the COO / president of that entity. And all those things they didn't have when I had 2 or 3 accounts. This is something that we had to grow and mature into as we continue to scale. We did a couple accounts. It's kind of like that saying that the tree falls in the woods and nobody's there to hear it, doesn't make a sound. We launched and nobody cared. Now, 2 years later, when the product's on fire, people are running into this. And if you're not well schooled for key security, you can really put yourself in a disadvantage. We all want to hold our own keys often. We're Bitcoin guys. It's kind of the ultimate. But when you're in an IRA, you have to give up that indicia of ownership so that you can get that tax setting. So just think about whoever the trust is, how much experience do they have, and do I feel comfortable with them holding my key?
Interesting. And for you, sir?
My name is Steve. How big is your research team? How often do you share information, and what information do you share?
He said, how big is your research team? What's your other question?
How often do you share it?
How often do you share it?
I guess do you share it?
And do you share it?
How big is in-house, we have 3 content directors that are working on fresh content always. Then we're also using and utilizing, leveraging other groups of providers around the world, actually, that are contributing inputs and perspectives on digital currency from all parts of the world. So we've got contributors in Venezuela, those in East Asia. So it's very robust, but in-house we have 3 dedicated research individuals.
Very cool. And for you?
And myself, but I'm only part-time because I have a job.
What type of agreement agreement is it actually that is set
But you know,
up?
one thing with research, I always put this out there, is you know, don't go down the rabbit hole, but don't also settle for a soundbite. A lot of people we find in this space, they'll listen to what JB Diamond says and they live by it. And then there's other people that will read every page, whether it's 75-page release every week, and go mad about the influxes and the technicalities. So don't overwhelm yourself. There is such a thing as analysis paralysis in every market.
Okay, I have a question in the back, and she wants to know what type of agreement.
It's written up for the custodian that is approving it. What is it? Is it a note? Is it unsecured? Is it unsecured? Is it, I mean, what is it that we're putting together in order for the IRA for it to move over into their account? Is there an
Can you
agreement?
come up here right to them so I can get the microphone, so, because that's kind of a long question and I don't want to get it wrong.
Well, I think I can rephrase it.
Okay.
She's like, what qualifications and what kind of agreements are put together for the custodian over the accounts?
We're in California, so we gotta take a property.
Yeah, we still have a few more hours of trading left today.
All right, so just to repeat that question, she's asking what kind of agreement is put together with the client and the custodian, and what kind of verification process does the custodian go through?
How close to the mic is she? She's pretty muffled, but we really want to know the question.
That's you.
It's
It's not actually an agreement with the custodian, because the custodian is the king's company that he's talking about. So my question is me as the IRA person, can you hear me?
No, you can't. He's far away.
That's right. Let's hear the question.
When they ask if I was single?
Can you hear me? He can't hear me.
Is it not muted?
Let me see that real quick. Can you hear us right now?
Yes, I can hear you, but when she was speaking, I couldn't hear her, unfortunately.
Okay.
Okay, can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
Just hold it. No, it's, no.
Can you hear me now? No?
You still can't hear her?
Doesn't like my voice.
No, I can hear you, but I can't hear her.
Just have her sit in your seat.
How's it going now?
Sit in your seat.
Still no.
It's your laptop, Mark.
Go ahead.
Yeah, you're talking to the computer.
Do you need to turn this off?
No, just go right ahead.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right, my question is what is the agreement that goes into place? You're saying, who's the custodian that you recommend, King's Ford? Kingdom Trust.
Kingdom Trust Company.
Okay, so I'm the IRA holder, and I come to Kingdom Trust and they set up the self-directed IRA that I've converted in or moved into their account, correct?
You would have an adoption agreement you would sign first that would have all of their terms and conditions of a standard IRA adoption agreement.
Okay, and then what is the agreement between myself through
Kingdom Trust.
Kingdom Trust with your company to then implement my IRA?
So exactly. We're just a conduit for you. So the agreement is in the IRA, and then you're going to be doing your trades as a self-directed user of that IRA. So there is an account agreement that we have you sign on your first trade. I can send that to you personally after this so that you can review it if you'd like to. And a copy of the application. I can distribute it to everybody. That way you can read the fine print before moving forward. All we are noted as is an authorized representative of your account. We can't do anything with that. Bye.
All right. And for you, sir.
Two-part question. What's your business's revenue model, and what's the fee structure for the management fees?
I'm going to ask you to come up here. I just want you to answer talk right to these guys, okay?
You have a big microphone, like one of those boom mics.
Yeah, we do.
The question was, what's your revenue model as a business, and what's the fee structure for utilising your services?
Yes, absolutely. Great question. So nobody does anything in financial services without getting paid. How our process works is we have a one-time fee when you purchase. If you spend anything under $50,000, it is a one-time fee of 15%. From 50 to 100 is 12.5, and over 100 is 10%. That's one time on the initial purchase. If you ever liquidate, there's no liquidation fees. And when you repurchase, it's a 5% refi fee. That's our model. That's how we make our revenue. Kingdom Trust, your custodian, obviously has an annual fee of $20 per month and 7 bps per month of account. And that's disclosed in the fee structure, so you have it all laid out for you before you get it.
Very cool. Answer your question?
Yep.
All right. Anybody else? Yep, way in the back there. The tax man. Come up here, tax man. Come all the way up here.
I'm not.
What'd you say?
Just as it's not a tax.
And real quick, anybody else that has questions, why don't we have you just come up to the front, and we can that might make it easier.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, do you comply with all the standard IRS regulations as far as issuing the year-end tax forms? And how do you accommodate for those with a $6,500 traditional or Roth traditional or contribution limit?
Yes, absolutely. So you can't open an account with a contribution. So your annual contributions, what we do is we legacy in clients so that if they are doing a contribution for their annual fiscal $6,500 or $5,500, then we're able to waive the minimum because you're already an existing client and we want to see you continue to build your retirement. As far as the annual reporting, Kingdom Trust holds its trust from South Dakota, so it's approved by the IRS to be a self-directed IRA custodian. And we stay compliant with all necessary regulations for holding of those assets and then year-end reporting.
All right. Does that answer everybody's questions for these folks? Well, we really appreciate your time, guys. Thank you very much for filling us in and for joining us here at Southwest Florida Bitcoiners. And we're really, really happy that you joined us today. And we're going to record this so our folks can watch it over and over.
Oh, great. Well, thank you guys, and keep up the good work of just the knowledge base of Bitcoin out there. It's exciting to see people throughout the country. These groups are growing. There was one time when it was just a few guys in a basement. Now it looks like you guys have almost a full-size company there today, which is great. So we're happy. Anytime you have questions, you can reach out to us. I'm sure that you'll distribute our contact information as well.
Absolutely. All right, guys. Have a great day. Bye-bye.
Thanks, guys.
The top cryptocurrencies, and we're just going to follow through on where we currently are in the top cryptos. Currently have a market cap of $575 billion in cryptocurrencies right now. We often, like I told you guys earlier, will follow coinmarketcap.com in order to get our news. So I'm just going to talk about the top 10 cryptos. I did add an 11th today, so you can get familiar with that. But here they are. So all of them, as you see, are in the red because of the news out of China and South Korea. But some of us consider that a buying opportunity for some of these cryptos and go ahead and buy. So as you can see, Bitcoin is number one, as it always has been and seems to be retaining that position. If you came to our Bitcoin meetup in September, we were at $3,978. In October, we were at $5,600. November, $9,600. In December, we boomed up to the $19,535. It actually showed $20,000 on some cryptocurrency exchanges. And then in the beginning of this month, our first meetup this month, we were at $15,000, and now we are down to $11,974. So we just shed $114 billion off of Bitcoin. All right, so the circulating supply right now is 16,806,000, with a cap of 21 million is the maximum supply of Bitcoin that will ever be made. So I wrote, what is with the drop? And Chinese authorities are quietly stepping up on the crackdown of cryptocurrency exchanges to include what's called market-making platforms and similar services, according to anonymous resources cited by Bloomberg in an article on Monday, January 15th. As attention focuses on South Korea's regulatory battle with cryptocurrency trading, Bloomberg reports that across the border, where official crypto to fiat exchanges have been banned since September, exchange-like services are now on officials' radar. So that's what they're looking at, and that's what they're looking to crack down on. South Korea's regulatory battle with cryptocurrency trading, Bloomberg reports that across the border that you're seeing this crackdown, and South Korea is basically following through under the premise of they're very interested in what's happening with ICOs. Those are called initial coin offerings, which are raising a lot of capital within a very short period of time. And that's caused red flags for all the governments around the world. They want to get their hands on some of that money, and they're not able to, so they're going in, cracking down the exchanges, forming regulations, so they can actually start to get some of that money. And so when the folks are generating, let's say, one company in general raised $240 million within about 3 minutes. So that's how much money is pouring into cryptocurrencies. Bitcoin has what's called an issue with right now the amount of fees that it costs to actually use Bitcoin. And those fees can be quite high right now. And those fees are determined by the mining population. So every time a Bitcoin is spent, it has to be verified. The transaction is verified by what's called miners. And that fee now has rose quite dramatically. So it's made Bitcoin not appealing for people that want to do transactions for like general things. Like let's say you want to buy something for $20 and the fee to use Bitcoin is $20. It's not appealing. So some of the other cryptocurrencies are. They have a lot less fees, they're quicker, like Ethereum for instance, and that's as low as $3 or $4. So people are often now looking at the other cryptocurrencies and going, well, I'd rather pay you in Ethereum than Bitcoin because I don't want to pay that high fee. And they also want to hold on to their Bitcoin. But the other issue is that scalability and the fact that it needs to be competing with very, very fast transactions such as Visa or MasterCard, which is doing 2,000 transactions per second. So Bitcoin cannot keep up with that. So in order to keep up with it, they have to do what's called the Lightning Network. And that just launched the past month. And I wanted you folks to see what the Lightning Network is and how it works. So it's very important as you get into the scalability and use of Bitcoin because it will drop the prices dramatically and allow us to not have such exorbitant fees.
Chain Layer 2 network that aims to scale the Lightning Network is an off-chain Layer 2 network that aims to scale the Bitcoin and Litecoin networks to be able to handle anywhere from millions to billions of transactions per second, instantly, through the power of smart contracts. A typical transaction consists of a sender and receiver, in this case, Lucy sending Alex some coins directly. And whilst this works fine in most situations, Lucy has to pay a growing transaction fee due to increased demand on the network, limited block space, and on top of that, have to wait for her transaction to confirm. The Lightning Network solves this issue through the use of payment channels, by allowing users to send multiple transactions to and from each other off-chain, in the form of redeemable IOUs. Kind of, sort of. Let me explain. Payment channels use multi-signature addresses and exist between two users for a set period of time, in this case 10 days, which will be represented by the n-lock time. Before Lucy can send any coins into the shared 2 of 2 multi-signature address, she must first get Alex to sign a refund transaction to her for 1, the amount she is going to deposit, and 2, with an n-lock time of 10 days. This ensures that at worst, Lucy has to add her signature to the refund transaction and wait out the 10-day n-lock time before her money is refunded in full to her, in the case that Alex doesn't cooperate. With this, Lucy can now send her coins over and, from here, start signing transactions from the multi-signature address to Alex. During this 10-day time period, Lucy can make numerous half-sign payments to Alex without incurring any transaction fees. However, once Alex adds his signature to a transaction, since it doesn't have an n-lock time, it is committed to the blockchain and their channel is closed. This is an example of a unidirectional channel. If Lucy signs a transaction with an N-lock time of 9 days, meaning it will occur 1 day before the refund transaction, Alex, by signing it, knows that in 9 days' time he will own those coins. As such, he can use it to pay Lucy, simply by creating a new transaction with an N-lock time of 8 days, 1 day before her payment to him, and so on. Each time the payment channel changes direction, the N-lock time must be brought forward by 1 in order to overwrite the previous transactions. This is an example of a bi-directional channel. Things get a bit more complicated when we start adding more people and using 3+ party payments. In this case, Lucy wants to pay Alex, but they don't have a channel open between each other. They do, however, both have existing channels open with Brian, who runs a popular service they both frequent. A similar issue arises here, however, as this system isn't trustless. Brian could choose to keep the coins and claim that he sent them to Alex, and likewise, Alex could claim that, well, Brian never sent him the coins and accuse him of theft. And since there's no record on the blockchain, you couldn't prove him wrong. Thankfully, however, the parties here can use hashed time-locked contracts in order to prove payment and resolve this issue. By utilising one-way hash functions, every single party member in this chain, no matter how many, can prove they have paid the next person in the chain, all thanks to some rather clever mathematics. It goes like this. 1. Alex creates a random string represented by the letter S, which will be used to sign transactions. 2. He hashes it, represented by H, and shares H with Lucy. 3. Lucy then shares H with Brian, and they both agree to create an HTLC between them, comprising of a refund transaction to Lucy with an N-lock time of 2 days, and a 100 coin payment to Brian, so long as Brian can produce S. 4. Brian sends Alex H to prove that Lucy has paid him, and they then both agree to create an HLTC between themselves, but this time with a refund N-lock time of 1 day to ensure that their channel closes first. 5. Alex sends Brian S to prove that he is indeed the payee, but instead of using it to broadcast the transaction onto a blockchain, they each agree to novate/remove the contract and update their channel with a new unencumbered transaction that does not require S for 100 coins to Alex. 6. Brian sends Lucy S, proving that he has paid Alex on her behalf, and they both agree to do the same. At this point, since no one was uncooperative, the entire transaction chain hasn't touched the blockchain, and Lucy has effectively paid Alex. If, however, say Lucy chooses to ignore Brian, Brian can then broadcast their channel along with S onto the blockchain, and it will forcefully pull those funds from her, paying him, so long as he does so before the refund N-lock time on their channel runs out. Otherwise, Lucy is free to redeem her funds, leaving Brian 100 coins poorer. The N-lock time limit then effectively provides as an incentive for every member to react, and both protects and ensures that each party's channel doesn't close before the other, so each can pull funds safe in that knowledge. And that, in essence, is how the Lightning Network works. Whilst this all sounds very complicated to set up and actually get working, the two main developers behind the Lightning Network, Joseph Poon and Thaddeus Taj, are both working on an interface which should hopefully make using it as simple as sending a standard Bitcoin or Litecoin transaction today, meaning it will require no real extra input from a user's perspective, which is very welcome news, not to mention it will go a significant way to helping with its adoption. That, of course, is not to mention the other benefits that come with this, including reduced blockchain growth, as more and more transactions are handled off-chain by the Lightning Network. Oh, and microtransactions, which can actually be a thing now, as users won't be charged a transaction fee until funds are committed from the payment channel onto the actual blockchain. So we won't have to pay 20 cents for the luxury of buying a coffee with Bitcoin. From an average user perspective then, this is pretty good. All we need to do is keep trading our transaction IOUs across the Lightning Network, and every now and then update our channels between each other. From the miners, however, not so much, as they will start to receive less and less income from transaction fees. They will, however, still remain a necessary part of the ecosystem. And, whilst the Bitcoin and Litecoin networks resemble mesh networks, the Lightning Network will, we imagine, most likely resemble multiple hub networks as it matures, connected to each other where users send funds through one central service, such as an exchange or a crypto bank. This is even more apparent when we start looking into and judging their user statistics, although there will always be the option to open your own private channel if you wish. There are, however, some caveats. Without implementing the necessary transaction malleability fixes, it is not safe or feasible to currently use the Lightning Network. One way to achieve this would be through the use of SegWit or segregated witness, which we previously discussed here. However, whilst SegWit looks set to be activated on Litecoin, it looks far less likely to ever be activated on Bitcoin, meaning we will most likely see the Lightning Network fully in action first on Litecoin, whilst Bitcoin in the meantime searches for another solution. Many thanks to Charlie Lee of Litecoin and Joseph Poon, one of the main developers of the Lightning Network, for helping to inform this script. A reminder that you can stay up to date with everything regarding.
So that gives you an idea of the Lightning Network, and I know that's kind of a lot of information to absorb. However, it's very important to the cryptocurrency community because it actually shows that they are making progress on these transactions, lowering those fees and making it more appealing. But at the end, you heard that that Litecoin would be the first one that would kind of activate that and utilize it. So Litecoin actually becomes a lot more appealing as an investment than Bitcoin would because of that. Right now, the USA considers Bitcoin is classified as a convertible decentralized virtual currency in 2013. And now, I'm just going to fast forward through, Bitcoins are actually considered an asset in the States. They were born in 2009. Bitcoin was born in 2009, right after the blockchain software went active. So blockchain is what a lot of these cryptocurrencies are built on the blockchain, except one that you heard about earlier, which was IOTA. And I'm going to talk a little bit about IOTA and why it's important. But blockchain actually has caused a revolution in all types of business models. IBM is actively using blockchain to track everything from food to packages and so on and so forth. It is actively utilized in a lot of different industries and coming online. You often will see now when you go to LinkedIn that blockchain is one of the highest searched things for people because they're looking for blockchain developers and there's not enough of them. The average cost of a blockchain developer right now is $100 per hour. So a lot of people in college are dropping their majors and going into blockchain. So the next one I want to share with you is Ethereum. Ethercoin. Does anybody own Ethereum in this room? Okay, a few people already own Ethereum. So Ethereum is actually right now a hot commodity. So everyone's talking about moving their crypto into Ethereum right now because it is the one that we consider in the States that is utilized the most for creating what's called smart contracts or tokens. You can tokenize virtually anything by utilizing the Ethereum website. So I'm going to go there really quick because I'm going to talk at the same time. I'm just going to show you what it looks like. So this is the Ethereum website, and as you jog down here, it's going to talk a little bit about what it does. Excuse me. You can download a wallet here, Ethereum wallet, right from ethereum.org. So that's where you can get it. And they're using what's called Solidity. And Solidity is the way that you can make your own smart contract. So you could build tradable tokens, centralized bank can actually issue money from it. And also you can kickstart off of that. You can, for instance, let's say you want to promote your business and you really want to build your brand, and you can create a token around your brand. Okay, I own the butterfly estate, so I'll give you an example. I can create butterfly coin. I can create as many as I want using Ethereum platform. Let's say I create 21 million, the way that Bitcoin did. Then I would put that, I would need to have somebody who was mining those transactions. In other words, verifying those transactions once somebody bought butterfly coin. As it became more and more popular, people could utilize it at my business. Let's say they get a free soda for coming or something to eat by utilizing butterfly coin. So you can create incentives around your coin. So a lot of folks right now that are popular, like let's say you're a superstar, like Kim Kardashian, you can do like a Kim coin. People can invest in Kim. They can every time she makes a movie, every time she makes a commercial, and that her value goes up, the coin gets traded more, she's actually able to utilize that money to do what she wants. So that is actually a huge trend that's happening right now with everything from music to art to all these folks that are trying to raise a lot of capital. They'll create their own tokens or coins, name them, and build a brand around that, and then let people, then release it to the public for you to buy it up, right? So there's a lot of great things that you can do with Ethereum. Kickstarting, starting an organization, and virtually getting your name out there and really utilizing that platform in many, many ways. So right now in the States, Ethereum is a go-to source to build a smart contract. So it's considered valuable by a lot of folks, and that's why some people are now churning from Bitcoin and then going to utilize Ethereum. Ethereum was created by Vitalik Buterin, this young gentleman right here. He did it when he was 19 years old. So he's a I would say billionaire, but now he's a multi-millionaire. He just helped Russia create their own cryptocurrency. So he's flying around the world, meeting with leaders of the world that want to keep the economy going. Russia wanted to create their own coin, get away from any other kind of digital currencies, and they want to make sure that they keep that money in-house. So that's why they built that coin. Some other countries are building coins like Venezuela, but then they're backing the coin with commodities such as oil, diamonds, things like that. So we talked a little bit about the Ethereum smart contract and how it works, and so that gives you an idea of what that is. Now Ripple XRP, this is another different type of cryptocurrency. When you came to our meetup in November, it was 21 cents, in December 25 cents, and then in January it followed the trend of cryptocurrencies. It actually jumped to $3.30. So if you had invested in Ripple back in November, like some people in our group have, they're very happy right now, even with the dip, right? Because right now we dropped down to 126, right? So what is Ripple? What does Ripple do? Ripple is taking over the SWIFT process. That's the SWIFT process of wiring money through any bank institution. It's currently being utilized by over 100 banks throughout the world, most of them in Japan. And what they do is they work really fast and eliminates that process of you having to put in a SWIFT number, and then hopefully the bank will transfer that, and you get charged the extravagant fees for that, wiring that. And Ripple takes away that, reduces the cost greatly. But the biggest news out of Ripple within the past month is that they just got accepted by MoneyGram. So that's a big deal. That's a huge deal for Ripple. So most often in the past, we're like, well, where's Ripple XRP actually going to be utilized? You know, and in the cryptocurrency world, it's not a popular coin because it's not mined. There's no miners involved, and if there's no miners involved and they're not getting paid, then they don't promote this coin. They talk bad about this coin. Also, cryptocurrency has been in the past peer-to-peer. That means there's no banks involved. And that's been the whole thing behind Bitcoin and actually all digital currencies is we don't want the banks to be involved. We want to make a decision with each other to sell or buy something from each other. And we don't want to have to pay the bank. We don't have to wait for the banking officials. That was the whole premise about a lot of crypto in the cryptocurrency world or digital currency world against banks. It's like anti-bank. However, one corporation decided that's all hubbub, we're going to the banks. So this is the only real cryptocurrency that's actually backed by a corporation. Very active marketing program. They're very active in banks. They originally went to Japan. They were tested in 47 banks originally to see if it would work. They were successful in that, and then lo and behold, now 100 banks accept them. But the big news being the fact that now XRP is going to be utilized by MoneyGram, so that means a lot of this coin is going to be eaten up.
I don't know if this is like a stupid question, but
No stupid question.
No stupid questions.
as a transfer for SWIFT, which is the money transfer system, are you actually transferring, for instance, US dollars, or are you transferring XRP?
No, you're transferring US dollars, but XRP is actually what's utilized to make the transfer. You want to say something?
In essence, you're using
So go to the
XRP in the middle, but you'll get out USD. Whatever you put in the beginning, you'll get out in the same thing. They're just using XRP to move it quickly. Originally, it would be electronic, which they have to verify, make sure it goes to this, goes to that, goes to that. Where XRP replaces the middleman and says, hey, you gave
If I
me
go to my
20
bank
bucks,
and I do my transfer.
then Rob takes 20 bucks out of his
Right.
wallet because he can verify through XRP that you gave me 20 bucks.
So I've been preaching about XRP for a while at almost all of my all of my Bitcoin meetings. Not because I'm an investor, but I am an investor in it, but also because I knew that these three things were coming up. So this has been on my little presentation here now for months, because it talks about xCurrent, which is a payment processing solution powered by Interledger Protocol that's coming online. xRapid, which was not utilized until this week. That is what is going to be utilized by MoneyGram, and Western Union is also looking at using this too. So as that means real world uses, and they're eating up that coin, right? So, and by the way, we have one banker, a part of our group, and that banker is highly invested in Ripple XRP, if that tells you anything. So, yes, ma'am.
So is there an actual risk for us if I'm sending money to you and it goes through the coin and the coin fluctuates? I'm trying to understand how this actually works.
Well, this is different because this is actually not even, you don't even know you're using XRP when you utilize this, because you're not actually sending somebody XRP. It's just that they're utilizing it to make the MoneyGram transfer, for instance, like wiring money across overseas. They use little pieces of XRP. So that's...
So I'm not buying a coin and then it's getting reconverted on the other
Right,
side.
it's not like Bitcoin, for instance. Like, in Bitcoin you have to be careful, make sure you have the right address, and you're sending me money, so you want to make sure I have the right wallet address. And you have to be careful there, make sure you got it right before you click send. This is, however, behind the scenes and just being utilized now by banks for little transactions, what I call nano transactions. So they're eating up these XRP
Bank
coins.
fees.
Bank fees, correct, yes. Yes, sir.
So for
The
those
reason why
that
we
would
have
be
to-
more involved in the real estate environment, would this be part of that, or would it be a different?
For the real estate environment, most people look towards Ethereum, because
Okay.
Ethereum, you can create those smart contracts I was telling you about earlier. And so you can actually create, on Ethereum, you could create an agreement to sell a home, which eliminates the real estate agent. It eliminates, all the folks involved in buying properties. So, yeah, so that would be Ethereum, Ethercoin. It's called Ethercoin. Okay, Bitcoin Cash. Bitcoin Cash came after Bitcoin, but it has the same set amount of coins. It's at 21 million coins. It happened when we split on August 1st. So there was actually a split in what we call the blockchain. So you got Bitcoin here. We went on a split, created Bitcoin Cash. People who owned Bitcoin at the time were rewarded the exact same amount in Bitcoin Cash that they had in Bitcoin. So if you did have Bitcoin prior to the split, you were rewarded Bitcoin Cash. What's the difference? The difference is that one of the existing blocks in Bitcoin is 1 megabyte, and in Bitcoin Cash it is actually 8 megabytes. So he wanted to, his name is Roger Ver. He wanted to make sure that he addressed the what we talked about a little bit earlier, the scalability, and the fact that it could be utilized as faster transactions. So that's why Bitcoin Cash came along. It can be utilized for faster transactions. It's highly scalable. So it becomes highly desirable for some companies to go ahead, get rid of Bitcoin, and take Bitcoin Cash. So that's where you see the value there. So in November, we are at $336, and today we're at $1,876. So you would have made a big chunk of change if you invested in Bitcoin Cash.
So now those are two separate entities you can buy, Bitcoin and Bitcoin Cash.
Correct, yeah, two separate ones. So, and then they're listed, the most active exchange in the United States is Coinbase. That's the one most of us use in order to buy cryptocurrencies is Coinbase. If you have a friend that already has a Coinbase account, let them send you a link because they get $10. Woohoo! But it's worth it, you know. So, and you can buy
Actual dollars, not coins?
It's $10. Yeah. Well, no, they give you $10 in Bitcoin. Yeah, they give you $10 in Bitcoin. Yeah, which is like, you know, it's great. I think it's great. So yeah, and I think on Coinbase you could buy now. You could buy Bitcoin, Bitcoin Cash, Litecoin. Tell me.
Coinbase? Yes.
Coinbase.
It's just those four.
Just
Ethereum.
And Ethereum. Ethereum is the other one. That's the one I missed. Okay, Litecoin. Now this is Charlie Lee. That's me with Charlie Lee in Miami at the at the Bitcoin conference. If you ever get a chance to go to a Bitcoin conference, please do.
It's actually this week.
When?
Thursday.
It is Thursday. Yeah. Yeah. It's in Miami. It's Miami. The ticket price I think
No, you can't
is
get
at
in.
$1,000.
It's
Is
$1,000.
it $1,000 now?
I
Yeah.
can't get in, can't get in. It's
Sold out.
Sold out. Yeah. Yeah. But if you do spot one and you get a chance to go, please do, because they're really valuable. You'll meet all kinds of really great people. You'll find out things that you never knew, and all these new coins that are coming up. That's where everybody shows up to like promote their initial coin offerings, or the leaders of cryptocurrency always are there. So definitely suggest that you go to those. So again, this is Litecoin. Litecoin, you know, Charlie was very, very smart. He addressed the scalability issue very early on. He made sure that Litecoin was scalable, but he also is the guy that you heard about that the Lightning Network. That's the gentleman that created the Lightning Network. Okay, so super smart guy, but he really understands why digital currency, in order for digital currency to be successful, it needs to be scalable, it needs to be very fast. So Litecoin is desirable in that regard. So as far as investing in it, in November it was $58.88. December we're at $91. The beginning of this month we're at $236, and now we're at $196 per coin. Okay. Cardano is a new one to the top 10, and it just hit the top 10 this month. And it's again running on quick transactions, very fast transactions, and it's highly scalable. But it's integrating into things in different platforms like social media platforms and things that can be utilized quickly, you know. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. But Cardano is one of the ones that I just want to go ahead and show you what their website looks like. So you can get better familiar with it. And they have a wonderful white paper up here, so you can actually go to their white paper, download that. They got a roadmap that shows you where they intend on going in the future. But if you want to own it, you need to download the wallet here. And you just go to the Cardano website, cardano.org, and you download what's called the Daedalus or Daedalus wallet. And again, so we were actually, it's a really great buy, right? So it was at 18 cents in September, and now we're at 60 cents. So if you would have bought a lot of it back in November, you had
Is there a certain time of year these all come out? I keep saying November.
No, that was at the meeting when we first announced it and first saw it.
Yeah, so we just go back several months into our group. I don't want to go all the way back, please, you know. So I just go back a few months to show you where we were, you know. Because a lot of them jump so dramatically in a short period of time. Going back to November is suffice.
And there really is no, excuse me, there's basically two times to really get into coins. At the end of a quarter, because generally you get a dip, which would be March, June, September, December. This year actually was the first year we didn't really follow that rule because you had so many people coming in, it didn't really dip in December. But we're seeing a big dip right now in January. So things kind of shifting, all that. And other times is just whatever it's going down. When there's a particular market event, like particularly like everybody's mentioning Korea. Korea's cracking down, everything's dipping, get in. So these are less predictable, but crypto doesn't stick by any solid rules. To answer that question.
Nemcoin, so XEM is what it's called on the on exchange. So if you go on CoinMarketCap, you actually look for XEM, not NEM. And it's gone up in value dramatically within a very short period of time. Also in December it was 21 cents and now we're at $1.05. So please look for this coin. It again is about fast transaction but peer-to-peer nodes. So it's a very involved thing, but it has what's called Catapult. Catapult is the ecosystem built behind it to that it's going to help it run faster and be highly scalable and utilized in a lot of businesses. So earlier I was telling you about Ethereum. Neocoin started off as what was called Ant Shares, and Neocoin is now hit the top 10 list as it has gone way up in value. But Neocoin is considered China's Ethereum. Okay, it's what the Chinese are utilizing to do smart contracts, build smart contracts. Everything I talked about with Ethereum is what Neocoin is doing, but in China. So they had a drastic drop. They were going like this, skyrocketing in price. China did a crackdown, and it kind of leveled all off. And now, all of a sudden, it's starting to go back up. So we are on an upward trend with Neo or Coin, okay? So you want to buy, if you're interested in buying some of these smaller altcoins, you can't do it on Coinbase. You have to do it on some of the exchanges that allow Americans to buy on. One is Binance. Binance is the one that most often is utilized by us, or Bittrex. And then, is there any other?
Bitstamp?
Bitstamp. There's over 8,000 different exchanges. The main thing is when you go to CoinMarketCap and you see where the chart's at, when you click on a specific coin, you see where the chart's at. There's a tab above that chart that says markets. And to click that tab, it'll let you know all the markets that particular coin is available on. All right?
But it's not secure, I'm sorry, secure to use anyone, yeah? It's better to know which one.
Security, the weakest link in security is you. Okay? So as long as you keep track of your private keys and your information, it's secure enough. Now, exchanges, like in Korea, for example, when they did that crackdown, any funds left on that exchange in Korea are frozen. So you don't have access to that. So, I mean, it's really secure then. Nobody's getting to it. You know, so that's why you want to have exchange wallets and your storage wallets. Only keep what you're playing with on exchanges.
And then, in other words, take that money off of there and put it on what we call a hard wallet, like a Trezor wallet, for instance. There's different wallets that you could get. The one Smo often uses is called Trezor, it's Trezor. Okay, and that's a hard wallet where you would store your cryptocurrency on that. And you'd also want to do that or print out your wallet. If you print out your wallet, please put it in a safe. We've often heard of people dying. Their relatives find out that they had cryptocurrency and they can't get their hands on it because they didn't leave behind their wallets and their information, the keys, in order to get that. So it happened to a young man recently, and his parents saw that the money was being transferred from the bank account into Coinbase. They contacted Coinbase. Coinbase said, without the keys, we're sorry, you're not getting it. So that's something.
So who gets it? Where's it go?
It just says Coinbase gets it.
Without the private key, nobody can access it.
Without the private key,
Even
no.
Coinbase, that's what I'm
Even
saying.
Coinbase,
Who-
yeah.
Where does it go?
It just
It's
sits
stuck.
It's out there in no man's land.
Yeah, it's like having a room you have no key to. It's just there.
That's weird though.
It's security.
Yeah, that's security. So if you don't share that information with your relatives and like, here's my wallet,
Oh, okay.
I print mine out, put it in the safe, right? So they can see all my, they give you a series of words or phrases. That's how you get access to that wallet.
How many wallets do you have? 'Cause, I mean, it looks like there's a ton of them that you have to download.
I'm going to go
their
over
wallet.
that
Yeah,
after the top 10.
yeah, and he's going to make it easier too, because there's actually a few of the things that you can utilize to keep track of your wallets and how much you have, and so you can see it all, as opposed to going, oh my gosh, I got to go to this exchange, and how much do I have there, and how much do I have here, and wallets everywhere.
Does that stuff have to sit in probate like everything?
Technically, no. Because it's not, they don't really know it's there.
Right, that's what I'm
It's
saying.
outside the
You
city.
just go in there,
Exactly. However-
in when you find it in the wallet.
However, you always want to do the safest route and just, you had access, oh, we're paying this, and just pay the taxes. Pay it off, because if you don't pay it, they always hit you for more than if you just did. Or move to Puerto Rico, like I'm looking into.
Why does it take so long to get the money from your bank account to Coinbase? I've got something sitting for 9 days, 10 days, waiting to get over.
Generally, it's 2 to 8 days,
Yeah.
and then
It's just because of,
there are only a couple people.
yeah, they're being.
Yeah, Coinbase had 50 people in January. It had to double its staff by, I think it was June, and they still are adding people and need to do more.
They have
It's
over
such a rush.
100,000 users a day trying to activate on Coinbase.
With different questions, misunderstandings.
And signing up.
Yeah.
Should I get nervous anytime that the money doesn't show up?
No, actually, please don't get nervous. I have a one nightmare story I'm going to share with you guys really quick. It was a gentleman who called me recently, and he's now lost over $20,000 because he could not wait. Support line. And came up with a phone number. He called that phone number. A man answered the phone. An Asian man answered the phone. Said, or Asian accented man. I don't know if he was Asian or not. But asked if he was going to help him, but he needed to get access to his computer. So he shared his computer by clicking one button, and before you know it, he cleaned out all of his cryptocurrency accounts, and then started going after his bank account. So in total, he lost $23,000. $3,000 from his bank account, and the rest was in cryptocurrency.
He was the weakest link.
So that it's very important for you to protect yourself.
Can you put this money in a trust so that if you did die, your kids could get it?
I'm not sure. That's a really good question. That's a very good question. Like real estate.
Well, I don't know anything about that, but from what I'm understanding as far as trusts are concerned, and I'm not giving any advice here, but whatever you have in assets, you place into the trust by adding it to the trust account. And if you take your wallet, I'm assuming, number, and put that in the trust, then once the trust moves over, that's who gets that wallet.
You have to title it though with the trust name.
And that's the complication, and
Yes.
that's exactly what I was about
Yeah.
to point out, is in some respects that'll work no problem, because it's a property. Just like if it was a phone, a tablet, or anything, cryptocurrency is considered a property. But some of them, like Coinbase, you have to have personal access to, and that attaches to an ID. And they are essentially frozen, or they're not doing any more merchant accounts, which would be what a trust would fall under. So it still connects to a person. So some you may be able to, others you won't. Haven't gone into that question just yet.
Could a wallet be in that?
Yeah, it's just like any other property, as she pointed out. Whether it's property,
So you
whether it's
can't
land.
sign up as a corporation? It has to be personal person.
Again, it's a volume thing. They've had so much stuff going on. They're not accepting new merchants.
Got it.
And a business would be considered a merchant, no matter what kind of investment is doing. So yeah, so it's just a personal thing. So from a trust respect, you probably can do that with some coins, but not all coins. It depends on where that wallet is stored for that.
Is Coinami a wallet, or is it a sort of a report?
Coinami is a wallet, and I'm gonna explain that further after he's finished with the top 10.
Okay.
And I'm almost there. So Stellar Looms, or XLM. Stellar Looms has become very popular, and the reason being is because it's being adopted by several different very popular platforms. One is a social media platform called Kik. Kik is built on what's called VK. VK.com. Is anybody familiar with VK.com?
We know what Kik is.
You know what Kik is?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm trying to get the little, you should be, Kik is like.
So it's a messenger platform
A
is
little
what it
sex
is.
pot operation over there.
Yeah.
Hey.
So anyway,
Humble beginnings.
So the people who created VK, which is the largest social media platform for the for Russia and the Soviet Union, it works just like Facebook, but it's for Russians. So it's called VK.com, and they utilize what's called the Kik Messenger, and they decided to switch from Ether over to Stellar Looms, so that quick transaction thing that's happening in Messenger is what that's about, okay? And it's also about monetizing social media in general. So right now, when you upload something to Facebook, you don't get paid for that. You just upload it, people can share it, they can do whatever they want with it. Well, the trend now is that everything that you do, everything that you upload, whether it be a picture, whether it be a video, whatever you do has value, and that you should get paid for. So that is where the trend is moving towards, that these currencies are actually going to be attached to social media platforms. There's some right now, like Steam, for instance. If you've never heard of Steam, you upload your video to Steam. The more people that view it, you get paid through crypto. You get paid in cryptocurrency for people viewing it. So Stellar Looms, or XLM, you guys, was in December, it was at 38 cents, and now it's at 46. But is on an upward trend as more and more people understand what it's going to be utilized for. So I just happen to know because I follow all these things, and I suggest you too. So whatever you see here that you're interested in, by the way, I highly suggest you use Google Alerts. And if any of you don't use Google Alerts, use Google Alerts. All you do is Google Alerts, and then you put in a subject that you want to follow, and they will automatically email you every time any kind of news comes out about that. So if you type in Bitcoin, it's going to send you information daily about Bitcoin. And when you click it, it's going to show you all these articles that are being written about Bitcoin. And you can weed through those articles because some of them are like, hey, Bitcoin's a scam. So pass that one, please. Move down to something where you actually see it's being utilized for something. Because you see those all the time. Because a lot of banks are putting out information about how it's a Ponzi scheme. It's all going to fall apart. Anyway, IOTA coin. So this is the one that we were talking about, the Internet of Things. This is the only one that does not work on the blockchain platform. It works on the Tango platform. It verifies transactions much differently than the blockchain. It actually uses 3 different points to verify transactions, and it's split up. So no one can actually fool with that information. But Internet of Things is very important. That means we can monetize virtually everything. Your refrigerator, your car, your toaster, all of those things become monetized by using what's called the IOTA coin. These are nano transactions. They're focused on very fast, small, little transactions. Paying people increments of money is what that is. So IOTA was at 48 cents in November time, and now it's at around $2.88. The Tango network is something that will just like need some time for you to sit down and watch a YouTube video, because like the other videos that you have in cryptocurrency, your mind wants to just explode with all this information.
What is that, and the difference between that, the block, and that hash graph I heard of?
So the Tango works differently than the blockchain. So the Tango wanted to get rid of some problems that they feel is limiting with blockchain. So centralization of control, obsolete cryptography, inability to conduct micropayments, partition intolerance, discrimination of participants, scalability limits, high requirements for hardware, and unlimited data growth. Those are all things that Bitcoin cannot accomplish and IOTA can. So they're very active also as a group. It is a nonprofit organization, by the way, that is run. But they are traveling the world. They are very active on YouTube. They have a great YouTube channel. But they always talk about, you know, how those nano transactions are actually going to be utilized in everything I talked about earlier, like cars and monetizing your vehicle and everything you have. So YouTube videos are the best way to learn more about IOTA, and definitely go to their website.
It's a German company, right?
Huh?
It's a German company?
It is. They're Germans. Yeah, they're a German company, yes.
One question, the exchange company, are they the miners also, or no, miners different, exchange is different?
Say again?
Is the miners the same company as the exchanges?
No, miners are independent. Okay, independent. So anybody can become a miner. You can be one today. So you can go home and go, hey, I'm going to download the blockchain software into my computer, and as long as you have a computer that can process quick, that's why gaming platforms like ASIC cards are really popular right now, because they're buying those up because they want to make fast they want to get they want to verify the transactions quickly. They get rewarded every time they verify a transaction. That's why it's called a miner. That's what's called a mining. You're verifying transactions. They give you small increments of cryptocurrency for doing that. So you could do a mining. You could do it on multiple types of cryptocurrency. Mike that was here earlier, he is actively mining Dash coin and several other coins. Right now, Cliff also mines.
BitCoin.
He's BitCoin, but he uses MinerGate. It's called MinerGate. You can download it into your phone or your computer. It'll start mining coins for you, but just be careful. It's like taking over your CPU. In other words, your processing time, your processor. Just slow your computer down, things like that. Okay, but it's called MinerGate.
Yeah, I would think you would want a dedicated system to do all that.
Yeah, that's why people actually buy mining units. They don't do them on their computers. It's just a way that you could actually make money. Like somebody that's just starting a cryptocurrency, they can download MinerGate into their phone and they can start mining cryptocurrency. That gives them the foot in the door kind of thing, you know? So most people in the world now, around the globe, have this, and they don't have these anymore. So it allows them to actually start in the industry, you know.
I have a question.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
On this IOTA, one of my interests of it was not so much strictly the monetization, but tell me if this is an ill conceived interest or whatever, sort of poorly considered interest. My interest was in a particular use, which is in the automobile business. You know how you have the Fox Facts or
Carfax.
Carfax. The Carfax with a little fox figure in it. The automobile thing of keeping really precise track of the vehicle and all of the parts in it. That specific vehicle, that you talk about nano. I mean, you know, every little screw and bolt and whatever on that thing could become, so to speak, knowable to a buyer, or you know, or and then you could then in turn share it. So it becomes like possibly a truly, let's say, credible, or you know, something that you could actually have confidence in.
Sure.
Now I was talking to some guys that have a dealership. You know, I'm saying, you know, let's start with something. Let's accept Bitcoins, you know, whatever. But they don't want to deal with that right now. Mm-hmm. Am I barking up the right tree to what this is?
No, actually, blockchain would be better used like for that, and that is actually something that's being put in forth by a lot of countries right now. Property, real estate, you know, to verify that hey, you had a water heater put in, you had a roof repaired, you had all. Right. None of that information utilizing the blockchain can be fooled with or tampered with. Right now, someone can go into the record and write in, oh, I got a new roof in 2017, and there's no way to really make sure that that's real information right now. So blockchain solves that by saying, you know, hey, you know, this is actually when it happened. So yeah, when it comes to a car, a house, blockchain is actually the one that can be utilized for that.
Okay.
This sounds like seems like that makes sense, like, as far as just the check and balances of a record that happen as far as maintenance. But as far as the sale of the home and the transaction,
that would be Ethereum.
Ethereum.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
That would be Ethereum.
Now,
I left Tron up here. I'm already done with my top 10. I left Tron up here because it's just a word on the street. Everyone's talking about Tron. It's, again, one of those things that's going to be utilized in social networks. It became popular, I think, because of the name, because people are like, cool, Tron, let's buy it. Okay, so then it has a real world use now, so it's being utilized for social medias. All right, so that tells you a little about Tron. Please visit their website if you want to. When it comes to Bitcoin IRA, if anybody's interested in the Bitcoin IRA, please get with us. We'll pass that information directly on to them to make sure that they get in contact with you, and we'll make sure that they don't miss you, okay? We have another meeting coming up here at Endeavor at the end of this month, and then in February, please look for the one that's going to happen in Naples. And with that, I am finished, and I'm going to turn things over to Clifford, because he's going to help you guys talk about wallets.
One question?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
About ICOs. I have a German friend of mine saying that for Americans it's hard to get into ICOs at the base level, and he can get in where I can't get in. Why?
Regulation. Some of it, when you're talking about currencies, that involves the SEC. With the Security Exchange Commission and the funds, they don't permit certain things, particularly across state lines, international lines. And some of those exchanges don't have to deal with the rigmarole of authorizing that, so they just keep it within a certain demographic group, country, to that respect. Lykke, L-Y-K-K-E, is one in particular. They're out of Sweden, I believe. And I opened an account with them, and then they said, once they verified my stuff, they say, oh, you're American? Any money you put in that account, get it out now, because we're gonna close this. You can't be here. If you're in Hawaii, and you have a Coinbase account, they'll say, whoa, whoa, take your funds out, we can't accept that. No. So even with domestically, we have issues. And it's all about regulation.
If I can add a couple things
Sure.
to that, just I would say that's very select few ICOs. There's not I would say, at least in my experience, correct me if I'm wrong, anyone, but it's a very low percentage as of right now, at least, and maybe more and more coming because regulation eventually will happen. But there's not a ton of them out there that are that don't allow you to buy as a U.S. Resident. And you can sometimes, depending on which ICO and what it is and how hard they're regulating it, you can get around that using a VPN, which is a virtual private network. Right. Google that, and I won't go into that, but...
With the internet, where there's a will, there's a way. You can make most anything happen, especially that. So what I want to touch base on with everybody, first and foremost, mentality. All right? Head in the game. What's going on? All right, so we have to understand what cryptocurrencies do. First of all, they go up really fast, but they also go down really fast. We can see through here, I refer to this as blood in the water. All right, everything is red. All right, but also, think of it in terms of Black Friday. What signs are red? Sale signs! Everything's available today! Get 20% off now on Litecoin. Hey, you like a really good buy? Go ahead, you got 16% off Bitcoin. Come around right here, we're down 25% off Stellar. Everybody come in, get it now! Now that's my own opinion. It's not financial advice. Go ahead and do whatever you'd like for that. This is what I see. All right? Because, as we know with cryptos, when they go down, they go up! So why would I want to buy high when all these are green? You know? We have to make sure we keep that in mind, because this is what cryptos do. This is the animal, this is the beast that we got into. It's not like everything else.
It's like playing the stock market?
Yes, but no.
Day trade?
Yes, but no. You know, it's very similar, but it's a different thing. A wolf is like a dog, but you don't go around petting wolves. You know, so you got to think about it in context. They're both currencies and they both fluctuate, but crypto is more like that wolf. It fluctuates violently and can be very dangerous. All right? So you have to keep that in mind. Rule number 1 of cryptos: do not invest what you cannot lose. All right? Rule number 1, no matter what. Everybody tells you that. Do not. If you're expecting rent in 2 weeks and everything goes down, you have a big problem. Now I say that not to scare you all, but to make sure you have the right mind of what cryptos are and what they can do and what the potential of them is. All right? They can make tremendous wealth, but also they can be a tremendous burden because you bear the responsibility. You are in charge of it. If you don't keep secure of it, you can get drained like the gentleman lost $23,000. If that was his life savings, his retirement, whatever, boom. Hopefully, he started with $2,000, made it up to $23,000, and it's only a $2,000 hit. But if that was his life savings, it's a dangerous game. All right, so don't play with anything you can't lose. All right? Rule number 2, do not trade with emotion. A lot of people see all this red. Oh my God, everything's going down. I put $5,000 in this, and oh my God, I'm going to just get rid of it, save what I can. And the next you know, the thing shoots up 30%. Now his exit point is lower than his re-entry point. So he's going to lose what he had right there, and he has to pay more to buy back in because he got scared. This is the roller coaster. All right? You gotta understand what's going on. You gotta have the rides. It's gonna go up. It's gonna go down. Rule number 3: research, 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 and then validate. All right. Look into what each of the coins do, why it's a good coin. There was a coin up here. It's called Bitcoin Gold. Bitcoin Gold came out about the same time as Bitcoin Cash. And people didn't like the functionality of it once they started looking into it. There were particular nuances as far as how many coins were available, how many were available at the time, that really started to scare people off, and they're like, you know what? This coin doesn't feel right. I'm getting out of it. The matter is, people get out of it because they don't see it as valid, they don't see a utilization. All right? The secret between any coin is circulation and utilization. If a coin doesn't have a particular purpose, it doesn't have a future. All right? All these coins solve one issue or another, or apply to one group or another. Make sure you find out what group that is, and that's a group you want to get involved with, or a group you see as having potential. Whether it's IOTA, Internet of Things, being applied in one application, or somebody says the blockchain's a better way. It may still go up in sense of a currency, but it may not have as good of a future as far as greater potential. Litecoin is a coin that always lagged everything. Like Bitcoin shoots up, Ethereum shoots up, Litecoin, just chugging along.
Yeah.
And then boom, like a jack in the box, it shoots up. You know, it's just kind of a coin like that. I know personally, I saw Litecoin just bumping along at $100, and I was like, Litecoin is not doing anything. Why do I have my money in this? I moved out into IOTA, thinking IOTA's, oh man, that's exciting, what's gonna go, it's gonna da. I wanna say it was like 3 or 4 days later, Litecoin triples overnight. And it's, you know, don't overlook it. I'm done kicking myself, but I say that as a point to me. Don't move everything out of one thing I've learned from that is don't move everything out of one coin or another. All right, if I want to get into a coin, I don't go all in as heavily. And I say that because I want to be able to make sure that you all don't go down the same pitfalls that I did. And some of you are going to be hard-headed and not listen, and you'll learn the hard way just like me. Lessons learned hard are lessons remembered. I remember those, all right? And I really want to express that to try to help everybody for that. So now, volatility. Cryptos are volatile. On television, they tell you don't get into cryptos because you can lose everything, it can go to zero. Potentially, they're right, but an asteroid could hit us right now. Doesn't mean it's going to happen. All right, keep that in mind. All right, they are volatile, they go up, they go down. So just know that. It's a roller coaster. Roller coasters aren't fun because they just go around in circles like a merry-go-round. Roller coasters are fun because they shoot up, they go down, they twist, they turn, they do loop, they go sideways, all these different things. We just have to understand the beast. All right, and it starts with how we think of it in our head. All right? It's not a matter of gain and loss. It's a matter of up and down. We don't gain any money until we cash out. We don't lose any money until we cash out. All right, it's a ride. If you get off on the roller coaster before it gets to the end, you haven't done the full trip. Anybody that gets out of a coin right now because of some emotional scare, it's a loss. As long as it's less, as long as the point it's at right now is less than their entry point. If I bought into Bitcoin at 16,000, I got off now, I just lost 5,000. If I stay in, I'm just down. It's going to go back up. That's what they've done. Although past performance is no guarantee of future gains, because of past performance, I trust and I believe in my personal dealings, which is not financial advice. My personal belief is that it will go up, because that's what it's done historically. When you look at the charts of it, it's always laddered up. It shoots up really high, shoots down really low, and it shoots up higher than where it went before. That's been it, and that's what I rely on. Could be wrong, probably not, but I could be wrong. All right, keep that in mind. All right, now if it is up, like we pointed out earlier, I got into Ripple when it was 23 cents. I can get out right now, I'm still good. All right, I have gains then. So it's about your entry point and your plan. Just understand in your head what's going on, because you're going to hear everything, and I get it. I'll be at work. Oh, did you see Bitcoin today? You lost everything. Oh my goodness. And I was like, oh yeah, you're right, I am. But you know what? I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna be quiet. I'll eat my crow. But But then the next month when it shoots back up, oh my God, look at you! You're sitting there all broke and stuff, and I'm chilling on all these gains, I got all this up money, I'm gonna cash out and I'm gonna get my plans. You know? Have it in your head. All these people that don't know what's going on are telling you about the game. And you're really gonna let somebody influence your decision based off of information they don't even know? They don't understand Bitcoin, they don't not invested in Bitcoin, they haven't researched Bitcoin, they haven't spent hours up all night staring into a screen, getting bloodshot with everything going on in and out of focus, and you just can't get it to do what you want. They haven't done that. But now they're an expert gonna tell you what's gonna happen in Bitcoin? Kidding me? Come on. Don't let somebody psych you out. Keep your head in the game on them. All right. So the final point I'm gonna get into is wallets. We've talked about this before. There are 3 types of wallets, essentially. Number 1, you have your exchange wallet. This is what is on Coinbase. This is what is in Coin1. Okay? This is what is on an exchange. This is what is used to move funds around and to play with. Your investments that you're going to buy, sell, and move. Now, if that exchange gets hit by some authority, it can get frozen. Those funds are inaccessible. You can't get them. They are that. They're in that exchange. You're stuck. That is why you only keep funds that you are playing with in an exchange. Don't keep all your funds there. Spread them around. Which brings us to the next point. A digital wallet. A digital wallet is, most coins have their own wallet. Right? Actually, all coins have their own wallet, but you have the option of what's referred to as a multi-coin wallet, which is Coinami, which you had asked about earlier. Coinami allows you to have multiple coins in one wallet. I have a couple grand in this one. Now, I also have several wallets. I don't keep everything in one spot. I have 4,000 in this one right now. All right, I have another wallet I have like 2,000 on. I have another wallet I have 1,500 on. I have another wallet I got 3,000 on, you know. I spread it around because I don't want all my eggs in one basket. All right, if I were to lose this tablet, and I didn't have my private key, I would just lose the 4,000 that's on this. Okay, it's not my entire nest egg because I didn't put all my eggs in one basket. All right, so that's another thing about security. Make sure you have your private keys. One of the advantages of a digital wallet is that if I lost this tablet, I have my private key, I can just log into another tablet or another computer and re-access that.
How many keys are there? So when you first sign up to Coinbase, for example, they give you a key, right?
Right. Well, just a little bit of clarification. You'll have a key for every wallet or generally every exchange. All right, so those aren't something you have to memorize, but it's something you want to keep track of, and you don't want to keep it on your computer. You may want to keep one copy on your computer. Actually, I shouldn't say it like that. You want to keep a copy outside of your computer, because if that computer were to die, burn up, and you can't access it, you lose that private key, you lose access to that wallet. So you make a hard copy of it, store it somewhere else, print it off, and go right there. So you'll have a key. You could end up with 16 pages from 16 different wallets you have, or something, or write them onto a single sheet, some respect like that. So you'll have a key for essentially most every one of them. All right. Now, Coinbase no longer keeps a key on Coinbase, which is something if I remember correctly, I had to do for them when I first opened my account, but their security just has an API Google Authenticator now, so I don't need that specific key. And I was researching this because I kept telling everybody, get your Coinbase key, and they're like, we can't find ours. And I'm like, well, I'll write them and find out. Well, they just do the authentication now. So as long as you have the Google Authenticator and you have the password, you can get into your Coinbase account and move your funds around. But there are other wallets like Coinami. If I don't have my private key and my password, I can't, if I lose this tablet, I can't reopen this wallet. I have to have both of them. But if I'm just moving funds, I just need my password.
And how are you spelling that?
Coin-O-M-I. Coinami. There's also Jax, J-A-X-X, because Coinami is not available on iOS. So if you have an Apple phone, iPhone, you can't use Coinami, you have to go to Jax. I don't have Jax, I haven't worked with it. I tried to work with Jax, but it took too long to load and I've lost interest. And Coinami's easy, quick. It gives an 18-word private key. So theirs is words, not numbers.
So it doesn't work with Apple, you said Konami? Or
Konami does not work with Apple. And it does not have a desktop. It's only on phones or tablets. Okay? So another version of that is a paper wallet, which is like what Mike's handing out for the door prizes today. The paper wallets have different advantages of them. They're a type of digital wallet, right? But the paper wallet actually has a paper version you print out, and it doesn't store your key electronically. Because if somebody were to hack your computer, they get access to your private key. So protect that. And then the final one is a hard wallet, which Rob mentioned earlier was Trezor, Nano, Ledger. Those are all different types of hard wallets. And those are actually a physical USB style wallet that you can plug in, and it'll store 5, 12, 20 different wallets on it. Okay? So I hope that answers everything on wallets right there. Sure.
Sorry, this is my personal problema.
No problem.
But I have Coinami, and
Yes.
now you've given me the reason why I have it, which is it's a multi-coin thing.
It makes it
and,
easy.
and that's what I'm experiencing with it. But I also have Uphold. Why do I have those two? Would you imagine?
Well, you want to, like I said, have multiple baskets. All right, so you don't necessarily want to keep everything on Koinami. Keeps up to 5,000 here, then everything over 5,000 put onto Uphold. So you have another source.
Okay, I have the impression that Uphold is for getting my money from either one coin card to another, or from one, or from my bank account, you know, into the packet, that sort of thing. That's what that's for.
You can use it wherever you want. It's just it's a basket. You can just carry it to this and use that basket to go right here. You use a grocery basket, you use a laundry basket, you use a handbag. You can just use it as a vehicle to move.
In my case, they're exactly the same. I have the same list of 5 currencies.
Okay.
They're exact same. Are they talking to each other or no?
The wallets don't interact with each other. They're separate baskets. But the point of having multiple ones is so you don't keep all your eggs in one basket. If you kept everything in Koinami and then lost your tablet and you stored your private key on your tablet, completely gone, everything. But if you only stored a couple thousand or however much on Koinami, and you were to lose that and the private key, you only lose that little bit. So it behooves you to keep Uphold, behooves you to have Koinami, it behooves you to use exchanges, but just don't keep everything in one place. Does that make sense?
Well, yeah, it makes sense in the sentence. What I find hard is, because this is sort of how I guided here. I got here through dialogue with my relatives and friends and so forth. So, but when I get into it, I'm thinking, well, okay, I got about $10,000 involved in this thing, running around from one thing to another. It goes up to 13, then it's down to 9, and I don't know whether it's in Koinami or it's in Uphold.
Well, that's getting yourself organized.
Organized, yes.
Yes.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's the problema.
Get yourself organized. I like to use an Excel file, and I keep on an Excel file all my transactions.
Okay.
Because I'm trading more often, I have to be cognizant of when I enter and when I exit a coin, at what point I did, see how much profit I've made, to know how much I need to pay in taxes. And when I do that, I make a note of what wallet I store everything in.
Excel file.
Because you have people that'll, oh man, I forgot I had a GateHub wallet. Let me go there. That thing's got 6 Bitcoins from 6 years ago. Oh my God. You know, people have stumbled onto money like that. I know one guy, he found a wallet and it had 72 Litecoin in it. And Litecoin was at like 250 at the time. So he just found 250 times 72.
How much?
It was about 20 grand.
So is this what you call trading then?
No,
Buying-
this is just tracking. We haven't gotten into trading. I'm covering the basics. Yeah.
This is tracking what you have.
Yeah, tracking what you have. CoinMarketCap is my research site. When I go to find, it gives me, when I click on one of these coins like Ripple, it gives me the website of Ripple, it gives me any announcements channels for Ripple, it gives me any alternate websites of Ripple, it gives me the history of Ripple, it gives me markets Ripple sold at. That's what this is for. When I go into trading, I'm on exchanges.
Yeah, you said before, like, let's say if you lost your smartphone or your
tablet,
and you lose your wallet, wouldn't that person also be backing up their entire system? And then if you back it up, wouldn't you-
Theoretically.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
as part of the organization.
Right.
Being organized.
Yeah, as long as you're organized, you should be fine. You know, just keeping lists and keeping track, putting everything all in. But not everybody's like that.
Yeah, 'cause I'm assuming you keep your literally a paper printout of your key in a safe. You take your external hard drive, back it up to your
Correct.
Go to that to save.
Correct. In some places, I don't go through the point of going through safes. I'm not that concerned with security, but I am concerned. I'm not, I'm not exactly leaving my door open, but I'll close it.
Sure.
And I may not lock it, but I make sure it has some barrier. Right.
Is GDAX connected to Coinbase?
Yes.
Because I noticed, I'm just starting, right? So I did my first wire right 2 days ago. I did limit orders. I mean, it showed up. It's on
GDAX.
It's on GDAX. It's not on Coinbase.
Right.
So I found it there.
All right. I go through this. Like I do run a course to take people from zero to beginner. All right, where I help open a wallet. I get over the basics on research, basics of security, and answer any questions. We do have that available. You can go to BitcoinCrypto.News and sign up for that class. There is a fee for that class, but anybody that's gone through that, they say that information is invaluable. It really helps them out just to get everything started and answer a lot of questions that they're not able to find. Okay, so now Coinbase is what I refer to as a sandbox. It's a closed exchange. When you tell them I want this much Bitcoin, it tells you here's the price of that much Bitcoin. Okay? Simple, easy, virtually instantaneous. When you're on an exchange, it's not quite like that. It's a lot more complicated. So Coinbase is a great place to start. It's the entry point anyway. It's the lobby. Yeah, so it's easy. We actually get onto exchanges and how to do transactions and see what's going on there. But in the one-on-one, we go just basics, just getting started.
What's your, you got a card up there, I guess?
Yeah, I have cards up front here. And then I'm also going to go into a 301 and a 302 course because that goes into actual trading strategies. 201 is building your portfolio. 301 is actual trading strategies. But I outlined 6 straight trading strategies, and I just couldn't get all 6 in one session without being, oh my God, my head's going to explode. So, yeah. We'll go with that. So the 300 level is going to be broken into 2 parts. So that I'm going to have 4 courses available for that.
And what about Binance?
Binance is an open exchange. That's a superhighway.
And based in Hong Kong.
And based in Hong Kong.
And this is good, so recommend that?
It's the one we all use, but it does make us nervous that it's in Hong Kong.
Yeah. Here's the thing. There's no good or bad.
Cash, no, yes, trade.
Yeah. There's no good or bad in these things. You just have to be understanding of what's going on with it. You got to be the nature of the beast. A dog you don't know, you don't just run up and start petting. You feel it out a little bit, and because it doesn't know you, you don't go roughhousing with it. All right. Binance is kind of like that.
But most people like Binance.
Yeah. I use Binance. No?
So what is GDAX? Because I needed to use GDAX to get the Lumen. I had to get Ethereum.
You had to use GDAX to get Ethereum, but not to get lumens, because lumens aren't available on GDAX.
Right, so I had to
Right.
Move it.
switch and move.
What you're doing,
But I
okay.
didn't know what GDAX was.
GDAX and Coinbase is super easy, level 0.
Yeah, that's
All right.
like-
GDAX is level 1.
Okay.
Actual stage is level 5. Okay. So now, the main difference between GDAX and Coinbase, as I was saying, is you have more functionality on GDAX. You can get in a little more trouble. All right. Both of them are entry points. Okay. What you were doing was you were getting Ethereum so you could trade on another exchange to get moons. Okay.
I can't buy that.
You can't buy moons directly. Right. So that's your entry point. One thing when you actually get into exchanges, every exchange accepts Bitcoin, but they also do Ethereum. They'll also do Litecoin. They'll also do another type of currency. And because there's been so much congestion on Bitcoin, the fees got so high it didn't make sense to do that. So they're using something like Ethereum, or they're using Litecoin to actually trade on that exchange. But to get the initial one, you have to go through Coinbase or GDAX. So that was the lobby. of the hotel, and then after you got into the lobby, you picked the floor you wanted to go to.
Mhm.